Once again for our Monday morning edition of our Alaska News, brought to you by Inland Petro Service, Inc. Of course, you can give them a call at 451-1905 right here in the Fairbanks area. If you're outside, put that 907 on front, 907-451-1905. Remember, Inland Petro Service, Inc. is the folks to call if you're an Alaskan business, because, of course, if you're here in Alaska, you know the importance of lighting and signage, perhaps more so than any other place in the world, because it's dark 6 months of the year. From the installation of new signs to maintenance on existing signs, whether LED or neon, from canopies to parking lot lighting, or if you just need to have a banner installed. Inland Petro Service is the way to go with over 25 years of service and experience right here in Fairbanks. They're going to be able to help you with all of your needs. So give them a call. Once again, that number, 451-1905, or visit their website, inlandpetroservice.com. Once again, many thanks to Inland Petro Service, Inc. for being a sponsor of the Alaska News right here at radiofreespeech.com. You may have heard, you may not have heard some of the news that happened here in the state of Alaska over the weekend. You know, everybody seems to be focused on the tweets about Barron or about the alternative facts that are being floated out there by the administration. But here's some of the stuff that happened here in Alaska. First and foremost, another death, apparently a murder in Anchorage. They found a 17-year-old kid in the street, shot in the back. They took him to the hospital where he died. We don't know the identity yet or any of the details. It's still under investigation. Meanwhile, the Kuskokwim 300 has a new winner. It was the same as the old one, and that's right, for the third straight year in a row. Pete Kaiser has regained the title. There's a consultant that has raised concerns over the pipeline project. You don't say. We're talking about whether or not they're going to have a supply. We're talking about whether or not they're going to be able to afford to offer it to consumers at a price that they can be paid. We're talking about the same things that we've been talking about for years, but now a consultant that is getting paid an awful lot by the state is talking about it as well. Meanwhile, the governor has said that he's only going to pursue it if they actually have customers, and they're not going to pursue it, quote, at all costs. We'll keep an eye on it, as at the same time that this has come out, we also opened a trade and pipeline office in Tokyo. Actually, it was opened back in August, but the news didn't actually reach the rest of us until this weekend. Speaking of news reaching us this weekend, the Fairbanks Mayor's office said that the investigation of the former police chief Aragon did in fact show a conflict of interest, not a potential conflict of interest. The investigation showed that he was directly using his experience on the clock as a police officer, and specifically as the police chief, to get financial gain for his off-duty business. The roof has collapsed at the Dome, the inflatable sports complex down there in Anchorage. They got too much snow, and it took about 16 hours or so for the whole thing to completely collapse, but eventually it did. They said they're going to get cleaned up and they'll reopen it as quick as they can. If you're familiar at all with the history of it, it was a nonprofit that went bankrupt and then was acquired by another nonprofit, and so basically a lot of folks like to go there for their indoor winter activities, but they don't make a lot of money doing it. A couple of fires, one in Fairbanks blamed on a battery charger, one in Anchorage blamed on a turkey fryer. I know it's winter. I know there's a lot of snow out there, but fire is still a real possibility. Also, you may have heard about the Women's March around the world. It happened here in Alaska as well on Saturday, with they're estimating about 2,000 people showing up in Fairbanks, up to 3,000 people showing up in Anchorage, and I believe 38 people showed up at one of the other little towns, Unalakleet. Anyway, the point is this. It's one day in office, and we've got a whole bunch of organized protests against the current president. It's going to be a long 4 years, folks. That's what we've got for our Alaska News today. You like what I'm doing? Please support me either through a direct subscription at my website, radiofreespeech.com, or if you want to send me a news tip or you'll have an idea for a commentary, email me, steve@radiofreespeech.com. I am Steve Floyd, and once again, that website is radiofreespeech.com. Tell your friends.